Hello, everybody. Welcome. It's a real delight to be with you today in Greece, the 1st of July. Kalomina is what we say here in Greece. Happy new month. And I just really wanted to be with you today to share with you the energies, the metaphysical weather forecast, the kinds of things that you can expect during this next month. I'm not sure if you're here yet, so I'm just going to give a few moments for the lines to open here between us. It just takes a few minutes sometimes for YouTube and the stream to get underway. So I'll just give you a few moments. I think you're arriving, but I'm just not seeing much in the chat yet. And the chat usually tells me, hey, you know, I'm here from Texas, I'm here from Italy, from France, from Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark, Iceland, India, from everywhere. So tuning in with you. There's a delay and a strange sound. Oh dear, it is. All right. How is the sound now? Is the sound clear enough? Maybe I need to get a little closer to the input. Australia, Southeast London, England, Devon. Welcome, first time. North Carolina, Birmingham. Sound is still bad. Okay, I'm going to get closer. Have to be careful I don't pull something out that I don't want to pull out. Right. Much better now. Thank you. Isn't it great when we give one another feedback? So let's tune in to what's happening ahead. First of all, I'd like to just say something about astrology generally and why it matters. Because the ancients used to read the stars. They used to look for signs and symbols to show us how to work with the frequencies of the changes of the energies. Now, the fastest moving luminary is the moon. And during this Cancer period, we are under a strong lunar influence for the next 3 and a bit weeks, especially into July. And when a captain sets out on a ship, he wants to know what the weather looks like. He wants as much information as he can get to know what the winds look like, what the weather's going to be, and what the astrology gives you. And this is why I love it so much, is it gives you that energetic frequency so that you can tune into it. And this is where I like to give you the potentials and the possibilities each month. And especially at the new moon and the full moon times, because these are always pivotal change periods. And the astrology shows us what are the kinds of flavors that we're likely to be dealing with. And the zodiac sign in Hebrew is called the mazal. And often Jewish people will say to one another, oh, mazal tov or mazel tov, meaning may you be in the flow. It's translated often as good luck, but it actually means to be in the flow of good energy. And when you're in the flow of energy and the flow of life, then good luck and good things do come to you. And that is interesting that that's what they call the zodiac signs, this getting in touch with flow. So, first thing to say is we're under a strong moon influence, and the moon affects the waters. High tide, low tide, constantly changing. Every 2.5 days, the moon changes sign. So it's very important to know your moon sign as well as your sun sign. And you will find that the moon sign, because it's where you get nurturing. If you understand your moon sign and you understand the moon sign of the people around you and the people you interact with, and you'll understand that if you're with somebody and you're in a relationship with somebody, for example, who has the same moon sign as you, chances are you're going to feel very comfortable in that person's presence. You're going to get a sense of calm energy. So this moon energy, what's it telling us? Well, the next couple of months this next month especially, the next couple of months especially strong. Why? Cancer is one of the few signs that's just ruled by the moon. Only the moon rules only the sign of Cancer. And the sun rules only the sign of Leo. Because Venus rules both Taurus and Libra. Mercury rules both Gemini and Virgo. So many have got dual rulerships. But the sun and the moon, the luminaries, one only. So we're in very intense energies. What's new, you might say? We're in intense energies right now. And it's going to be very important with the energy of the moon to get in touch with your emotional body. It's the emotions. And it's quite possible that emotions are going to be high during this next month. And if you think about the crab doesn't move straight forward. It moves either one side or the other side. So the challenge this month is going to be finding your center, not going off to one side or maybe going off to another side in an extreme, but finding a balance. Because when there's extreme emotional instability, you become a victim in this water, this sea of water and emotions. And we even have a word, the lunatic, which comes from the word luna, the moon, when the emotions go crazy. Yes, you go to a lunatic asylum. So this is going to be an important time to really do your very best to balance out your emotions. So having a little mantra that might say, I am calm, I am calm, I am calm, I am peaceful, I am peaceful, I am peaceful. Even right here, right now, are you fiddling with something? Anything that you're playing with in your hands? Thank you, Amanita. That's a good one. You'd be lucky in the UK to go to any asylum, lunatic or anything else. I'm waving to you, Happy Earth. Thank you. So what things are you doing? Because very often you can be doing physical things that are activating a nervous energy. So I'm trying to become more aware because I've got Cancer rising. So I know this emotional Skapinevasmata, as we would say in Greek, this it's the boat that goes up and down on the waves in quite high storms. So can you maintain this, what the Buddhists call the middle path this month? Not driving too fast, not eating too much. Where in your life do you know that you go to an extreme? Would you like to share? Maybe we can think about, what sends me over the edge into an extreme behavior? Wow, Amanita said, wonderful thing happened today. You managed to feel love for in the shopping queue who was being very racist, a first for you. Awesome. Carolyn gets annoyed with unkind people. Okay, eating disorders, sweets, yes. Certainly that's one. So whatever is too much ice cream in one sitting, yes, roller girl. Nice one. Beautiful. Mo is tracing water papers of Tao calligraphy, the Tao Te Ching. Beautiful. I would imagine that's very calming. So you know what sends you over the edge, because this next month or two, because we've got this extreme moon energy, for example, to become aware of emotions and maybe all traumas coming up to be healed can be wonderful. And then to move on from it, not to stay wallowing in the extreme emotions, but to go to the light and to look at what can you do to bring back the calm and the nurturing. It's a bit like the child inside that's like, oh, mommy, I'm upset about this. And that you nurture that child, you take that child in your arms. So how do you nurture your child? What are the ways that you nurture? Because Cancer is about nurturing and learning to nurture self. And of course, the very positive side of Cancer is that they have tremendous sensitivity. And remember, everybody's got Cancer in their chart somewhere. It's just that some of us have got it more pronouncedly than others. And it would be good to look in your chart and see, do I have planets in Cancer? And where does Cancer fall? What life area am I most emotional about? Because it will show you in your chart. And it's valuable to know, where is the sun transiting, so that you can make best use of this Cancerian energy. So hugging yourself, says Roller Girl. Dina says meditating, giving gratitude. That's beautiful. Lovely. Tesseract says, I'm here for you. Say, beautiful. In man memories, lots of tears. Yeah. Eating with fingers and talking funny and doing silly things and laugh and hug often. Beautiful, Mo 23. I am being mum to your own children rather than your students during the summer. Yes, laughing. So whatever it is that brings you into the balance, and it's going to be important because other people around may be going to extremes. And so become aware and don't get caught up in that energy. And I think what's very interesting in the middle of this month, and we get this always around Cancer time, is we get a full moon in Capricorn. So in the middle of the month, 13th, 14th of the month, we've got the opposite energy of Capricorn, which is getting back on track, being practical, doing something useful with the emotions. Because the emotions are going to be strong for this full moon in the middle of the month. Moon and Pluto are together, opposite the Sun and Mercury. So it could be a lot of emotion, a lot of things stirring up. And the Capricorn energy says, let's use that emotion to be helpful to others, to be considerate of others, to be kind to others. Let's use it in a positive way. That's the advantage of the Cancerian energy. It gets out of balance, it's over emotional, can't think straight, can't do anything, frightened, nervous, vulnerable. And yet, when it's in balance, when it's nurtured and fed, it can feed us and be the mother soft energy to others. So that's the kind of energies that we're working with. And that full moon certainly brings things, whoa, if you have got out of balance. But I'm hoping now, by doing this video early now, right at the beginning of the month, you can be aware of possibilities and finding little techniques. I mean, for me, I find just taking 10 minutes to meditate. If I've been out for a little while, just come back, settle. It's a bit like a dog that's crazy, the emotions to either extreme of crazy mad joyfulness and crazy mad grief. We've got to bring back into balance, and that's the energy. Now, why am I making a big deal of this? Well, I'm making a big deal of this because the beginning of the end of the month are very Martian energies, very Mars energies. And Mars energies can be quite extreme, quite self-centered, and sometimes taking precipitous action. Acting maybe on something emotional, a reaction energy, reactional energy. The 1st to the 4th of the month, we've got Mars squaring up with Pluto. So this can be like, my way or the highway type of energy. And at the end of the month, we're building to this triple conjunction of Mars and Uranus and the North Node coming together. Very unusual conjunction. And again, this is also very volatile, explosive types of energy. So what I'm going to recommend here is laying low a little, watching your impulsive streaks, watching it. Suddenly you feel, oh, I'm driven to do this. What's driving you? Could you wait 10 minutes? Could you wait an hour? This is that energy of just restraint. And it's going to really serve you well. And it'll help others through this extreme explosiveness. All right. I need to say, you're trying not to crash your car. I'm not saying that we've got to, don't use your mobile phone while you're driving. Yeah, all these kinds of things. Don't send a text. These things are givens. But what I'm saying is just, Dina, yes, take 2 steps back and reassess a little. And see if you can just get that feeling of, am I centered? Am I centered? And if you can get that feeling, then you'll be strong with this Mars energy. You'll inspire others. Miss Karen is avoiding all possible crises. Yes, it is intense, definitely. Because on the 6th of the month, Mercury will go into Cancer. We've already got the Sun in Cancer. The 6th, Mercury in Cancer. We've just had a new moon in Cancer. I know you were joking, Amanita, yes. And then on the 12th of the month, we've got this exact Pluto return for America happening. United States Pluto return, we had a February, we had a direct hit. In December, we'll have another direct hit. But this month, we have it again. So America going through tremendous deep shifts on a deep spiritual level. And whether you like it or not, still at the moment, America is the strongest power because it has the reserve currency of the world at the moment. And there's going to be some very, very big shifts and a rebirth of the United States of America, and because of that, the rest of the world. So the 12th, big energy there. On the 13th, 14th, we've got this super moon. It's a super moon because the moon is really close to the Earth. So again, these emotional energies strong. Yeah, Miss Karen, great. Yeah, you're right. The temperatures are rising. It is. Not only physically here in Greece, because I know in the Southern Hemisphere it's a different story, but the emotional temperature is rising. So, interesting that this moon energy, the full moon energy at the middle of the month, is at 21 degrees 21 minutes of Capricorn, and the Saturn-Pluto conjunction that we had on the 12th of January of 2020, which heralded the whole COVID crisis, is at the same degree. That was at 22 degrees. This moon is at almost 22 degrees. So this could signal maybe a completion of that time, a new wave of understanding of what that was meant for us spiritually, physically, mentally. So I think that there's somehow reminiscences of what happened at the beginning of COVID, what the changes have been in this last 2.5 years. And looking at your life, because it's right in the middle of this month, looking at your life, and it's a Saturn energy. And looking at what are the practical steps I might need to take now to prepare for the kinds of energies that are coming. And Michael, great, you've got yourself in a peaceful, meditative state with your Whippet bunny and holding your Moldavite. Thank you. It's great, getting yourself into that state where you're not affected by so many of the waves. I think we are going to see a lot of waves coming up. So what are the practical things that you can do to simplify your world? And are there any preparations you could be making for the winter time if you're in the Northern Hemisphere? Maybe just stocking up on a few of the foods and things that you like. Any materials that you might need for the house and the home. Any electronics, excuse me. Now would be a good time to begin to prepare. Just not panicking. Again, this middle path, peacefully, quietly, gently, while there is no panic in the air. On the 18th, Venus goes into Cancer, more moon energy. So anything that you can do that soothes the emotions in yourself and others is going to be of tremendous value at this time. So speaking quietly, speaking gently, softly, kindly, listening, just listening, not necessarily advising somebody if they've got a problem or they're upset, but just really listening. It's very calming to have somebody really listen to you and really be attentive. Diane's doing lots of art. Yes, I find the art really helps. Music helps. Listening to the birdies helps. Going for a swim helps. Singing, Andrea, yes. Amanita, love to the animals, beautiful. Carolyn, gardening, beautiful. Hello, Therese in Minnesota, beautiful. It's so wonderful to be with you. And to just feel that gratitude, because Cancer and the emotional body can get you fearful about just about anything. Frightened of this, frightened of that. Oh my goodness, this might happen. Oh goodness, that might happen. You know, all this thing. Yes, thank you, Marilee. The paintings are blue. They're calming as well. The water energy, the calming energy. And just bringing calm waters. Where can you bring calm to places that have got ruffled feathers? And just noticing, because Cancer is very intuitive, your intuitive energy can be really activated at this time. Like, wow, you can get amazingly intuitive messages from that sensitivity, as long as you're not in the over-emotionality. I spent most of my life in over-emotionality, and I'm only now, to be honest, really just enjoying more moments and spaces of calm and peacefulness on the inside. I can't say that it lasts, because there are always external things that do have effect. But just tune in. It's like a tuning fork. Cancer energy, it tunes in. So powerful time, if you can remember that. Then from the 20th of this month, there's quite a shift. All right, there's a shift that takes place as we move to the Leo energy. Now, if you've managed to deal with traumas, deal with emotions, find your middle ground to the best of your ability, time and again, because it takes practice. Yeah, Logan, beautiful. Allow the feelings. We're always safe, held, floating in the womb of creation. Yeah. And then we move into this Leo energy, which is fire, which is hot, which is heat. So we've been swimming in the water, and then we come out into this creative energy of Leo, starting around the 20th when Mercury goes into Leo, the 23rd when the Sun goes into Leo, the 28th with a new moon in Leo. So we begin to progress into that Leo energy, which is the heart energy, the opening of the heart. And when you feel safe, and when you feel nurtured, and if you've done the work of the Cancer energy during the first 3 weeks of this month, then your heart's automatically going to open more. Thank you, Amanita, for encouraging people to like. I would appreciate it if you would like, and I'm always grateful when you do like. Thank you. So really just sensing the shift in the energy, and you will feel it, yeah, because there's a different feeling. But again, we're in this intensity of Cancer and Leo with the one rulership, and it's going to be important again to watch extremes. We have it in politics. extreme right, extreme left. People call them crazy, lunatics. Again, the moon energy. So, just to notice that energy. Now, that triple conjunction, I will talk more about it as we get towards it, but this is going to be because it's all in Taurus, Uranus, Mars, the North Node. I think this is a shift for all of us in this great reset. Dare I mention those words? That sets off the emotions for many. The World Economic Forum mentioning this great reset coming up. It's a reset of our values, our spiritual values. Taurus rules values. What do we want to move towards? What's most important for us now as a society, as humanity? And I have to say, I was reading in more detail because I've had so many of you comment about this energy of this great reset. So many of you have said to me, because I did talk a little bit about it in this last video that I did about 2025 and this new era beginning as we change frequency from earth and water to fire and air on a more global collective level. And many said to me, oh, with horror that I mentioned this, the predictions that the World Economic Forum came out with in 2016. And I think this is going to get revisited around the end of this month in quite an explosive way. Don't be surprised if this whole thing comes up. Yes, I love this slogan. Yes, you'll own nothing and be happy is the first one. It was written in 2016, way before COVID. And yes, you say they're right. Less is more and lighter, but on our own accord, our own choice. Absolutely. But I think it's important to look at what was written. Thank you, Seth. I appreciate that. But what was written there? Yeah, and I've been really kind of thinking about that more because it might be important to do a video about this and how it ties into the astrology. But let me just touch on it lightly because I do think it's coming up towards the end of this month, possibly quite in a big way. And again, it's this energy of extremes. I've had people unsubbing, you know, when they type in unsubbed, you're on the side of Klaus Schwab and the Davos crowd. So I'm unsubbing from you. And this might be somebody who's watched my videos maybe for many years, got a lot of value, and all of a sudden, baby out with the bathwater, got the wrong end of the stick because I'm definitely not supporting any agenda. I do my best to remain neutral at this point until I really understand what's happening. Once I really understand, then I'll make my own personal choices. But this extreme energy, and it's really about balance, once again, finding balance. And I have these exercises that I do regularly. And part of it is balancing on one foot, which is really good for you. And ideally, haven't been able to do it till recently, to be able to balance on one foot and do exercises on one foot with your eyes closed. It's really difficult. Much easier to balance on one leg with your eyes open. But balancing, trusting is much more difficult. So can you balance internally? That's what I feel is the message. Tesseract, you walk on a path of a simple life and it's very satisfying. You look at the skies with different eyes. Beautiful. Beautiful. Love that. Thank you. Thank you, Therese. Beautiful comment. So Let's just think about that. You will own nothing and you will be happy. Well, do we own anything anyway, is the question. And do we want a simpler life? Do we need so many brands of tissues and mayonnaise and all those things? And it's like we went from having really good quality instruments, fridges that used to last donkey's years, Black & Decker drills that used to last forever, to things being made slipshod and then having built-in obsolescence where you do have to throw them out. So I think this Taurus energy is encouraging us to get the goodness and solidness of something that's really valuable, and maybe having fewer of really valuable things that last a long time. And that would include friendship and love and good qualities. They last a long time. So we don't take anything exactly with you when we go or you leave, and you don't know what you own when you're sleeping, do you? So I think that the more conscious we get, the more conscious we become of this issue around ownership, and it is coming up. So if you're triggered by that, great, be triggered. It's not to say that we follow that agenda of the few. I mean, I've covered that. I think that's very obvious that we're not moving towards that, where the few run the money. Étoile, do I think that people's daily life will change significantly? If you are awakening, yes, I do. Yes, I do. I think that it will change greatly. So here's what they're saying. Whatever you want, you will rent, and it will be delivered to you by drone. There's an interesting thing. I think we just need to look at these things, yeah? Because if people are so upset by this great reset, let's look at what's being presented. Let's look at whether it looks as though it's possible, how we would feel about it, and is that what we, the people, want? So if we can, again, this is a very emotional time, keep your emotional equilibrium and see what's triggered by you in that. How do you feel about whatever you want, you will rent, and it will be delivered to you by drone? You won't be going out to get it. You'll be in your home and it's coming by a drone. How do you feel about that? How many to rent a car? Yep, I rent my home. Yep. Just let's put this out in the open. Pluto moon is conjunct at the time of the full moon this month. So bring it, let's bring it out. How do you feel about that? If you are renting, somebody owns it. Yes, Miss Karen. And who owns it? And how do we define ownership? Can you really own land, God's land, Spirit's land? Isn't it really rather that you have use of it for a while? I'm just opening. They also say that the US will not be the world's superpower. And that a handful of countries will dominate. Who will those countries be? Just let's open it. You won't die waiting for an organ donor. Instead, things will be printed by 3D. Just saying, this is what's said. You'll eat much less meat. 1 billion people will be displaced by climate change. 1 billion. There's going to be a lot of moving around and a lot of boundaries and borders of immigrants, of refugees. Polluters will have to pay to emit carbon dioxide. There's certainly a concern about climate change. Yeah. And the last one, which really makes me, it's like, what? You could be preparing to go to Mars by 2030. And what's on Mars? So I'm just putting out there the main points of the Great Reset that I am not saying I'm advocating for, right? Please note, I'm just saying let's have in the open something that was shared by the elites, the rich elites, as to the kinds of things that may be on the agenda. What do we want? And what are the new values that the elevated, awake human being needs to have? So the first one, I would say, Pluto is coming to the end of its transit in Capricorn, and we've got this Pluto return this month for the United States, is we need the reorganization of structures for health, for food, for our survival, for our very basics, so that every single person on this planet has their needs met, and that the 1 or the 2 or the whatever percent don't run everything, I would imagine. I don't know, Dina. Are the billionaires in such a rush to go outside Earth because they've already written it off? Don't know. But I think we just, it's obviously sparked something about ownership, about nations, about energy, about space, about technology. And what do we, the people, this is the Constitution, this is the age of Aquarius, what do we want? Diane, if you work in your Dharma, you'll be provided for. Yes. Yes. And can we rest until everybody is provided for? Can we truly rest? I mean, I don't know about you, but I just pains me when I know and hear that someone else is suffering deeply with, I mean, there's so many things people are going through. Doesn't make me rest. Obviously, I must find rest in me. But yeah, just bringing it out. Moon Pluto energy, let's bring it out. But there may be silver linings around some of the challenges that we may have that come up, that enable us to connect more. And to have values that are in alignment with the higher frequencies. And the more we can do that, the more we can bring heaven on earth. Love is all we need, absolutely, Andrea. So, yeah, I mean, this is a big subject. I'm just bringing it out because I think these are things that are going to set off the emotions and the potential imbalances this month. And just to be aware of it, you start with yourself, get yourself in balance. You know, you wear oxygen mask for you first, you're breathing, and then you can help others. So it's you're coming together. Etoile, do I have any advice on impatience? I hear you. It's challenging to wait for all this to occur. I'm with you. Becoming aware of your breathing and distracting yourself from the things that you feel impatient about, so that it doesn't become an impulse and you're able to use your mind as well as your heart together. Happy Earth is hoping the most serious issue is Dijon mustard or natural organic mustard. Yes, I have a wonderful Sagittarian friend. It's the fire energy that's coming in. And they're very honest. So there's always an honesty, usually with the fire signs generally. And instead of, saying, how are you or anything, I mean, we're really good friends. First thing she says is, don't wear that brown blouse anymore. It doesn't suit you. It was like, oh, okay. Really direct, really honest. So that's this energy of fire that will be coming in towards the latter part of this month. So always important to find the fun and the joy as we can, yet brutal honesty. So I've got my Pleiadian Oracle deck. I've really just done a very small run to begin with. It's been rather a learning curve about cards and qualities and all sorts of things. So if you're interested, just drop me an email, would you please? Because this first set, and I love them, I'm going to do something rather different with this first set and then see what happens with the subsequent ones as I get directed. But I thought I'd pull a couple of cards to see what are the cards that the Pleiadian deck is sharing with us for this month of July. Shuffle that deck. All right, I'll shuffle. Mr. Ferrand, thoughts on fashion. It's going to be changing dramatically. And a lot of handmade and very beautiful made things rather than throwaway things coming with the Taurus energy. All right. So here's our first card. I'm not sure if you can see it. I'm not sure where I need to put it, but your heart is overflowing with love. That's the card. Just imagine that your heart is overflowing with love. You've got so much love inside of you, and it's just emanating out of every pore. And one more card coming up. Yes, you're such a beautiful community here. I feel so fortunate. Oh, and the next card is take a quantum leap. All right, so to me, that is very much jumping outside of your comfort zone, doing something differently, consciously differently. That's the difference. Not finding yourself suddenly doing something differently, but choosing it. Choosing to do something differently. So your heart's overflowing with love and you're taking a quantum leap. If you're interested, I was thinking I might do these oracle cards once a week or something like that, where we can tune in and see what the Pleiadian deck is sharing with us. So I'd just like to thank you so much for being a part of this beautiful soul community. Thank you for your liking, for your lovely comments, for your contributions, my Patreon supporters. Just thank you to all of you. Happy July, Kalomina. My heart is overflowing with love for you. Bye for now.